Hey guys, this is Metalgamer here. Today I'm bringing my review of the much anticipated Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs has had a very long road that they've had to drive down, and it's finally here. It seems like it's been forever since it was first announced, and I'm glad that it's finally out after however many pushbacks and this many problems and these rumors and all of that. There's just been so many different things going on in regards to this game, and I'm glad that it's finally out, and I'm glad I can finally bring you guys my review of this title. Watch Dogs is developed by Ubisoft Montreal. Ubisoft Romania did the Wii U version. The game is out for PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Wii U, and PC, of course. You all know Ubisoft Montreal because they've had a large track record. They've brought all of the Prince of Persia series, the Assassin's Creed series, the Splinter Cell series, and the Far Cry series. So they have a lot of games behind them, as well as they have a decent amount of open world experience behind them. For those of you who are playing this on previous gen, you need to have a flash drive ready. Seems like these come quite often nowadays for the previous gen consoles. It is just about at the point where we would consider it previous gen, but it requires a 6.7 gigabyte install, so it is a pretty large install. You can get away with it on an 8 gig flash drive, or if you have the room on your hard drive, you place it there, whatever it may be. Alright, yeah, let's jump into it here. Let's jump into this review. So, in Watch Dogs, you are playing as Aiden Pearce, a hacker who is seeking revenge for the death of his niece. Watch Dogs has an amazing story element and really makes you feel like you care about Aiden Pearce and what happens to him. Aiden Pearce is also a very interesting character. He can do quite a bit with his hacking, and in the beginning, I felt like his character was quite limited, but as I played more, specifically a handful of the mini-games, I got a better feel for the game. I felt like I had to spend some time with the game to really get a hold of the controls and the way that it handled. I don't know why, it just for some reason didn't click with me right away. Watch Dogs is purely about hacking. Aiden Pearce can do things like hack street lights to make car crashes happen as he needs, hack security cameras, blow up pipelines, open up steam valves, cause blackouts, use devices to lure enemies near them, and many other things. It seems like his hacking abilities are near limitless. As you play and progress through the game, you start to realize the things that you can and cannot hack, and you also get to unlock the abilities through its pretty extensive skill tree to do different things. Near the beginning, you really kind of feel like an amateur hacker, and then as you progress through the game, you feel like you're almost an underground hitman, like you have the entire city at your whim. You can do whatever you want with anything in the city. It's yours to command. It is your playground of destruction. So outside of the in-depth story, you have the free-roaming world of Watch Dogs. The free-roaming world is amazing. There are tons and tons of things to do. I spent so many hours doing nothing but just jerking around, driving around and destroying things and catching criminals and things like that. I spent so many hours just doing absolutely nothing, and I had so much fun doing so. One of my favorite, just all-time favorite things in this game were the mini-games. They're mini-games that you wouldn't expect, and they play, I guess the best way I could describe them, is like, they feel like apps that you use on your phone, and you can access them through your phone, which is essentially your menu. You have a mini game called Madness, where you drive around and you run into demons that are walking around the city, and you try to get score multipliers and kill a certain amount of demons within a certain amount of time, and it gives you a little bit of a better feel for the driving element of the game. One of the mini games is also called Alone, where it gives you the ability to really learn the stealth aspect of the game. The stealth aspect is fairly important in Watch Dogs, and I used the minigame Alone to really learn it and grasp it well. Because in Alone, you are walking around a city with robots, and you have to take down the robots and go to whatever objective you're trying to go to. Also, one of the things regarding takedowns, I, for the longest time, was looking for a free-form melee button where I can just swing the stick at any time. The only time you can melee things is when you are standing next to them and you can do a takedown. You have no free-form melee button. You cannot just swing your stick around. It's an unfortunate thing that I was looking for a while, and I was telling people that my impressions of the game weren't that great because I could not find a melee button. Once I sat down and played some of the Alone minigame, I discovered, okay, cool, there is a melee button, but you can't just go around hitting people. You can only attack your enemies, because they want you to focus on being a good guy and not just a reckless vigilante. There's also another variety of minigames where you run and grab coins, or you bounce off of flowers like you're on a freaking acid trip. My all-time favorite one is called Spider Tank, where you're running around in a tank that is it's a spider tank. It's just exactly as it sounds. And you are destroying the city, you are destroying cars and killing police and taking helicopters out of the sky and destroying this and destroying that. And it's very fun, and it was quite interesting, as you can kind of see up here on the screen. Okay, so I had very few problems with this game. One of the problems is still a problem that it bugs the hell out of me. I don't like the way that the cars handle in the game. Normally in any type of game where you have vehicles, I'll use example Grand Theft Auto or Saints Row, anything like that. As you drive, you kind of go to turn, and it's a stiff turning system until you press a button that allows you to use an emergency brake to turn and drift. Well, this game does not have that. All cars, as you try to turn, automatically drift. For me, it bugged me. I didn't feel like I had complete control of the car. So when I would get into situations where I was on the freeway and I kind of had to turn, it made it extremely difficult because I would swerve just throughout the freeway. And then my other biggest problem was you spend an awful lot of time chasing down other vehicles. Whether you're in mini games or in story missions, you spend a lot of time driving around and running into other vehicles, because they also have not added any functionality to shoot weapons while you are driving. You have to get out of the car to fire your weapons. So this bugged me severely. The way I found out was driving a motorcycle, because the motorcycles actually do handle well. The motorcycles handle like they're supposed to. No, they have a very tight handle, but once again, there's no drifting. But I pretty much refuse to use the cars if I don't have to, because the motorcycles handle much better. The way I discovered, though, that you don't get to shoot while driving, and that you have to, ram cars off the road, whatever it may be, is I chased a car for about half an hour on the freeway, because on the freeway there's hardly anything for you to hack and to use. So I chased a car down the freeway for about half hour until it finally jumped off the freeway, and I had no way of taking down this vehicle. My mission objective was to stop the vehicle, and the vehicle would not stop unless I attacked it and rammed into it, which obviously in a motorcycle will go terrible, and it did. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do a quick run through of just a few of the missions that you can do while free roaming, because the free roaming missions is kind of where a lot of the fun in lies. You have the ability to hack into CTOS towers, which are essentially the same as the Eagle Points from the Assassin's Creed series. Once you activate the tower, it shows this many objectives and all of these things that you can do in the world around that given area. After you climb all the towers and hack into the objectives, then you pretty much see everything on the map. So the things that you find on the map are things like missions where you take down enemy convoys, or you chase down this criminal, or things like that. You've got a lot to do in the world, and it allows you to use your hacking abilities efficiently. You've got some that are as simple as, okay, this garage has these items I need and this audio file that's pretty important, so find a way to hack into it, and you'll have to go and try to find a way to hack into it. Or you can hack into people's personal feeds and do things like catching peeping toms, or catching somebody talking about plotting against this person. So a lot of it comes too from the little things that the game does. My favorite element of this entire game is that you can just go and people watch. I have never had a game that can do this so well. You can just walk around and you can pull out your phone and profile people. You'll look at this person, you can get bits of information about them. Okay, this person has Parkinson's disease, and they make $40,000 a year, and they listen to death metal, and they also volunteer at the soup kitchen. And then you can go look at another person that says, they have a restraining order from the local zoo. They make $100,000 a year, and then you also have the choice to do things like hacking their bank account to take some of their money. And this is kind of where I will lead into the online element of the game. The online element is fairly interesting. I haven't played a whole lot of it myself, but from what I have played, it is very fun to do. I hacked into one of the people to try to take money from their bank account, and they actually put a hit on me, so another hacker was looking for me. And this is, like I said, where the online element comes into the game. You can do things like races and, one versus ones, but those types of things are like, oh crap, okay, I just stole this person's money and now there's people after me. And players can jump into your world and try to kill you. Other hackers, and it's done pretty well. It's a very unique online system I haven't dealt with before. I haven't played it, like I said, a whole lot, but it is unique, which is where I enjoy it. The thing is, the races, those aren't anything real special. For me, the whole car handling thing kind of ruins the races as it is, but the actual hacker versus hacker element of the game is pretty interesting, and it's a nice take on multiplayer that I haven't seen done well yet. Because nowadays it's 6 versus 6, but the one-on-one element is where it's pretty interesting. So overall, Watch Dogs has been a very, very enjoyable experience, and I think it's been worth waiting for. We've been waiting for quite some time, and you know what? It's brought some decent stuff to the table. The combat works well. The stealth elements all are nice. The upgrade tree actually makes you feel like you are a more powerful hacker as time goes on, and makes you feel like you can truly do a lot with the world and make it your own, and make the city work under your whim. There's only a couple of problems I had with the game, which revolved around the vehicles of the game. Driving, the not being able to drift as I please, and the constant driving missions with no ability to fire a gun out of your window. So, with plenty to do and very few flaws, I'm going to give Watch Dogs, I'm going to give it a straight 80 out of 100. There weren't many flaws, but the couple of flaws that were in it bugged me enough because you spend so much time driving. But overall, it was a very enjoyable experience with a unique online play, as well as plenty to do if you don't plan to log online. You're going to find a very enjoyable experience with Watch Dogs. So, anyways, guys, that's my review for today. If you like this game, if you'd like to see some Watch Dogs gameplay, I plan on putting up a couple of videos as it is, but if you'd like to see some, please leave a comment down in the comment section below. Hit me with a subscribe, a like, whatever it may be, and I will see you all next time. Stay fucking metal, guys.